And if you increase this value, as you guys can see, this path is moving like that. So let's create one keyframe at the offset over here like that. Then go out to the end, and now we will create one over here. Okay, so now what will happen, that this is gonna get moved along with that shape. Okay, like that. So what I did over here is that I have added 180, and if it's not coming at the end of this ellipse on 180, you can change this value and check out at which point this end is properly gonna come behind our shape. Okay, for me it's 180, for you maybe it's gonna be a different. Okay, so adjust that according to that, and at the end of this, all we need to do, because this shape is gonna come over there only, so we need to simply add one over here. Okay, like that. So, and now because I want this animation continuously, so let's select this and hit U. Let's delete this path keyframe, we don't need that, and we will alt click on this offset. We will type loop out expression over there. I'll copy that expression by hitting Ctrl C. I'll alt click on this stopwatch and I'll press Ctrl V. So this animation is gonna be there again. So let's select this shape layer and let's make this value 2. And now if you see this, we will get this kind of animation. Okay, so our line animation is ready. Now I'm going to go in BG3 and I'm going to bring my line animation comp over here. Let's press S and let's adjust the scale, and let's try to move this over here. Now let's go inside this line animation, and we have this stroke over here, and let's go to this stroke and let's increase the stroke width a little bit because I want to add taper effect over here. So for that, go to the contents, shape, stroke, and over here we will bring this taper, and let's increase this end value like that, so it's getting taper over here, so we don't want that. So let's decrease the start value, and when you increase the start value, if you make this 100, we will get this proper taper effect. Along with that, I'm going to make this round cap, so we will get proper structure. And now let's make this stroke width to somewhere around 2 or whatever amount you want. Let's try to adjust the amount to 4, so we will get this proper structure and we will get something like that. And now we are gonna get this animation continuously in the form of loop. Okay, then press F4 and let's enable this icon over here. Let's select this, hit Ctrl D, move this over here, hit W, and by holding shift rotate it like that, and let's adjust it over here. Hit Ctrl D, let's move this over here, hit W, and let's adjust, rotate it like this, and let's adjust it over here like this. Okay, then hit Ctrl D, move this over here, hit W, adjust it over here, press S, and let's decrease the scale, and let's adjust it over here. Hit Ctrl D, move this over here, hit W, by holding shift adjust it like this, press S, and let's adjust the scale and move this over here. So now if you hit play, we will get this kind of animation over here. Now these few animations are slow and few animations are fast. So let's select this fifth and third layer. I'm going to right click, time, stretch, and let's make this value 60. Okay, so these two animations are going to be fast, or instead of 60 you can go to the time stretch and you can choose 40 to 30 as well. So it's totally depends on you that how much fast you want your animation. Or you can select this one, right click, time, stretch, and you can make this 80 for example. So we will get something like this. So basically our motto is to get alternate animations. Then I'm going to select all of them and press P for position, and I'll create one keyframe. I'm gonna go somewhere around 15 frames. Let's enable this because this is vertical, so let's bring this over here at this point. Then enable this icon, select this is also vertical, let's bring this downwards, so we'll get something like that. This is horizontal, let's move this over here. Let's enable this is vertical, let's try to bring this upward. Let's enable this one, this is horizontal, and let's try to move this over here. Okay, and now let's see all of this. Along with this animations, we will get this kind of movement over here in this animations. Okay, and let's save this file. Now go to the scene 2, and because we have this BG3, we will simply bring our BG3 over here like that. So we will get this animations over here. So now if you see this over here, it's looking like that. We don't want like that. So what we can do over here is that we have this shape layer which is act like a mask. I'm going to select this and I'll hit Ctrl D. I'll bring this to BG3 and I'm going to choose alpha mask or alpha inverted mask. So along with that we will get this animation. Okay, so now if you see this, we are getting this animation along with this entire stuff over here, like that. So okay, now let's save this file over here. Now over here there should be certain amount of animation, like cube type structure I want over there. So for that I'm going to press Ctrl N and I'm going to call it as cube animation. Okay, like that. And width I'm going to choose 1080 and height also 1080. Press Ctrl K again to open the project settings, and let's choose black color and hit Ctrl S. Now I'm going to select my rectangle tool. Let's delete this fill, and we will bring this stroke color to white and simply double click to create this stroke. Go to the size and go to the rectangle path, and let's decrease the size somewhere around like this. Okay, let's decrease the size. Then after that I'm going to select this ellipse. Let's delete this stroke, I don't need that, and I'm going to choose fill, and by holding shift I'm going to create this kind of stroke. Select this and press Ctrl Alt Home, and go to the align tab, align it horizontally and then align it vertically first. Then you can go to the align tab, align it over here and align at the top. Zoom in and let's try to bring this over here like that. Okay, press S and let's increase the scale somewhere around like this over here, and let's make this fit. Then hit Ctrl D to duplicate it and bring this over here. Select this two and hit Ctrl D, and let's try to bring this over here like that. Let's select all of this, press S, unlink this, create one keyframe over here, go to 20 frame, create another keyframe, go to the start and let's make this value 0. Select those keyframe and we are going to hit F9. Go to the graph editor, select this graph. By holding shift I'm going to move this handle over here, so we'll get something like that. Now over here I need the stroke animation, so I'll go to the add. I'm going to choose trim path, go to the trim path and let's make this end value 0. Create one keyframe, go to somewhere around 1 second and we will create another keyframe 200. Select those keyframe and we will hit F9. Okay, and hit U. Select this shape, bring this over here, take a gap of 10 frames and we will adjust them one by one. Okay, like that. So we'll get this animation like that. Now this cube animation, I'm gonna go in scene 2 and I'll bring my cube animation comp over here. This cube animation, let's press S for scaling option and scale it somewhere around over here. Now this animation should get started. Let's bring this at the top first of all and let's hide this. This animation should get started somewhere around at this point. So let's move this over here and enable this like that. So let's try to adjust it somewhere around at this point. I think let's see this in full resolution. We are getting something like that. I think in cube animation we need to select the stroke and let's make this stroke width to somewhere around 8, so it should be visible. Okay, like that. Let's make this quad resolution. We'll get something like this, and after this portion I'll hit Ctrl D, press P for position, create one keyframe, press S for scaling option, create another keyframe and hit U. Go few frame forward. Let's increase the size of this to somewhere around like this over here and select those keyframe and we are going to hit F9. I don't think we need position keyframe, so let's close this, or you can select this and if you see we are getting something like that. Let's select this, go to the graph, select this graph. By holding shift, move one handle over here and move one handle over here. Okay, so if you see this now, first we will get this, then we will get this. Okay, now this animation should be a little bit faster, so I'll move this keyframe over here like that. Okay, over here. Now let's go to this cube animation, and now what I'm gonna do is that this animation should get a little bit started early, so I'll